For a deeper look at the lingering conflict between Russia and Ukraine and the China Belarusian interest in Ukraine peace, Global Affairs analyst Sam Phatey joins me via Skype from Washington, D.C. Thanks so much for joining us. What do you think is the reason and, of course, the potential implication behind the China and Belarus expressing extreme interest, quote unquote, extreme interest in Ukraine peace?
Again, I believe this is a very interesting twist in terms of, peace negotiations in Ukraine. Obviously, with Belarus and being a supporter of this war for Putin and Kremlin from the onset, it makes it very difficult to see how they would take part in peace talks or in negotiations. Already, Belarus has faced some sanctions from the West for their involvement and for aiding the Kremlin and for their participation, whether directly or indirectly. Mind you, the Belarusian president is able to retain power due to the support that was given to him by Putin at a time that there were anti-government protesters in his country demanding for his resignation. So he feels like he owes a lot to Putin. So it makes it very difficult for somebody who is seen as a non-neutral person in this conflict to come to the table, try to be a negotiator. And to a certain extent, the same goes to China. China has repeatedly said that they have taken a neutral stand in this Russia-Ukraine conflict. However, experts and analysts do not see their stand as neutral at all. Of course, in terms of their diplomatic statement, it may sound like it, but they have always been on the side of Russia. And talking about in their statement, according to their own media, they spoke about staying away from Cold War policies or strategies, which obviously means that they are either looking for a regime change in Ukraine or things for Ukraine to take a position that will not also be favorable to the West. So again, it demands the question, or it begs to ask the question, will that really be a peace talk? Because it seems like there is no neutral person there to negotiate.
Well then, just look at how Ukraine has actually responded to China and Belarus expressing interest in the peace process. Because, for instance, China's peace plan was met with general distrust in the West. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that he agreed with some parts of it and said it was a sign of China's willingness to engage. But then, how trustworthy do you consider the China peace plan?
From my own point of view, the China peace plan trying to engage Ukraine, I am not going to trust that at all. The reality of this war is, at the end of the day, the negotiation is not necessarily going to be between Russia and Ukraine. I think from the very onset of this war a year ago, on this very channel, I have said it's a sort of a Cold War. That's what it is. This kind of negotiation is not just going to involve these two countries or these three countries. It obviously has to involve the West. It has to involve certain European countries, including France and Germany, Poland and Finland. And you have to have the United States deeply involved with those countries as well. And then on the other hand, you have Russia, Belarus, China, and other countries too as well that that need to hold discussions. At the end of the day, Ukraine is in the middle of all of this. But of course, with the current Ukrainian government, they are signing and leaning with the West. And obviously, you have Belarus and then you have Russia on the other side. All of these people have to get involved. You cannot have China come up with a peace plan and say that we want peace and then they go directly negotiate that with Ukraine and Russia. That's not going to happen. So you have other parties that are going to be involved. So the peace plan in itself has to be realistic. And the current one that they have, that is, I've not seen a copy, but from the media reports from China and from Belarus, pretty much is indicating that China and Belarus would directly engage Ukraine. They need to be mindful that they are not going to engage Ukraine as a country by itself.
I'm afraid that we're out of time. We just have to find a convenient point to drop it here. Global Affairs analyst Sam Phatey, thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
My pleasure.